why the rich, powerful, and famous have to flaunt their wealth. Why it is a requirement as a part of the strategy in the losing team, aka the United Kingdom of Darkness, or the Kingdom of, I don't know, you guys know. I'm going to be explaining that in this video because you guys know I'll be thinking, all I'd be doing is thinking, and I've been wondering, right, I'm of the belief, right, any person who's a good game player or a good competitor or just a winner is highly intentional about every decision they make. Why they're doing it the way they're doing it. That goes all the way from acting, every little intention, every little facial expression, tone of voice, every single thing is being done for a reason, in the same way as a scientist, every single thing is being done for a reason. So I started to think, what is the reason? Because some people could suggest that, some people could suggest that, why would you flaunt it? It doesn't help. It's tone deaf. It's giving Hunger Games the people, like, you know, with all the money and all the power, just flaunting it at a time when, you know, a lot of people are not doing so well. I mean, to be honest with you, I don't think there was ever a time in history, come to think of it, I don't know, because I don't know all of history and none of us do, where everybody was just good, especially because it all went wrong like literally day one, Adam and Eve. So I was thinking, what is the reason? Because there has to be a reason why these people have to flaunt, like, the thought that comes to mind. And I think this I don't know why, but Kris Jenner will always be like just the one person who just irritates me just that bit more than everybody else. And so I was thinking about her birthday, I think it's the 70th or whatever. And obviously she pops out looking younger than me, as in younger than I look. And I refer to that event as the billionaire banquet, right? She had it at like Jeff Bezos's house. And it started to make me think, why do they show this stuff off? Now, I've always known that obviously in terms of Hollywood, at a lower level, you know, in music videos and stuff, it's to promote the lifestyle. But I never really thought about why. And that brings us to this video. Wow, I'm looking shiny. Who remembers the Shiny show? Anybody from the UK? Hold on. Who remembers the Shiny show? It's a kids show. Really old. Okay, not that old because I'm not old. But yeah, it's an old show. Anyway, and then it hit me. The reason is, right, because they have to put up this facade. I keep talking about this facade, this fake character, these fake characters that we're all just living in a performance. One big play, and we're all just characters, right? Some main characters, some side characters. Some people have got the lead role, and some people are just a sheep in the background or a tree. Oh, shame. This person's car's got a flat tire. Oh, my days. Low-key. Genuinely speaking, if I knew whose house it was, I would actually knock on the door and tell them, because you never know. They might be thinking, oh, I need to go somewhere last minute, and be completely unaware that their tire is completely busted. It's a nice car as well. Anyway, so I've been thinking about that. And I realized it's part of the performance. And you know why? Because the devil runs his team through fear. I've been thinking, the devil runs like evil leaders, right? Evil leaders, they always rule through fear. Because you know you can rule through fear and you can rule through respect and love, right? So I believe God rules through respect and love, right? So to me, the epitome of the fear of God is respect, as in you genuinely respect God's opinion above anybody else's. You genuinely respect him more than anybody else. And therefore, that respect instills a degree of fear in you, because you're like, I care what this person thinks. Like, I don't want to disappoint them. I don't want to be on their bad side either. Because that's my thing. I'm like, look, whatever happens in my life, all I know is I don't want to be on God's bad side. I've seen, and I'm scared. And when the Lord be pulling me up and calling me out in my own behavior, and I feel the fear of God, It's like the scariest thing ever, like scary. So I realized that the kingdom of darkness is run on fear. Because obviously we, the jury of the sheeple, right? We're like the audience watching a play. And, you know, we're trying to discern exactly what's going on and exactly the answers. Because I do believe that most people think that their life solutions are in one of those three things, if not the combination of all of them, like I like to call the temptation trio: money, power, and fame. And so I believe that that's what the devil's using as like a thing, a temptation, like, this is what I can give you. That's always his. Even if you look at all of these people we've spoken about, all of the different predators, all these people, they always offered those things. They always had the lifestyle. They always gave off the lifestyle and all of this, right? Whether it's Kris Jenner clinking champagne flutes with Jeff Bezos at the billionaire banquet, or whether it's these rappers with 3 chains, 20 chains, grills and everything. It's all the same thing, right? All these women, it's a lifestyle. And that's why I think it's funny, in the Bible, having Solomon, who through David, obviously his father, became Solomon. I do think David fatherhooded to the max, and which is why Solomon ended up becoming the wealthiest and the wisest in all the land, of 700 wives, 300 concubines. I do believe that's because of his father David, and because of the man that David was, right? And why Solomon prayed for wisdom and stuff like that, So I think, so that's what I'm saying. It's just ironic, because what I'm trying to say with that point is all these things are available with God anyway. It's just about how you got them. And in order to get them through God, you have to be a person of character, which is why the devil was like, hey, forget character. You don't actually have to have character. You can just be one. And I've got a whole bunch of these people playing the characters, and I'm ruling them through fear. They are scared. I've realized that the people in the industry... Sorry, I really want to know what song this is. Hold on. Sorry, I got so distracted. I realized he's running his kingdom through fear. These people are scared of the devil. They're scared because he's like... Because one thing, it all started because I was watching an anime. Right? And I noticed a trend that you always see again in TV. Shock. Does art imitate life, or does life imitate art, right? Classic. And again, it's quite funny because literally everything is just copying God's ideas. So I just picked a random anime to watch because I was in the mood. Well, you guys know I need an anime. I'm so grateful for anime, to be honest. And I noticed a trend, which we see all the time. When you have the good people ruling, which I'm going to do another video about, another thing to do with why good men always die, or just good people, but there's a reason why I specify it like that. But anyway, and I was thinking, whenever you have like the evil, the so-called evil, or the so-called bad guys, right? Their subordinates, if you will, always listen to them more so out of fear, because as soon as they don't meet the requirements, as soon as they don't fulfill their mission, they get punished, right? And I feel like when you're on the good side, the punishment is more disappointing somebody that you love and respect. You know that like phrase is like, how it's worse than when somebody feels disappointed in what you've done, because that is worse than like being angry almost. It's like, I'm not angry, I'm disappointed. We see that across the board. We see that in the world, and it's also like that in the kingdom of darkness, right? Because little ex-witches and warlocks, if you hear their stories, they tell you when they don't meet the requirements, whether I'm hearing about John Ramirez, who was an ex-high-level witch who the devil blinded for a year when he was trying to walk away, or all the way down to the women in Africa going into the oceans to do things with water spirits so they can seduce men through their eyes, and saying how they made deals. They had to meet certain quota every day. You have to have like deceived X amount of men that day. Wherever you look, wherever you turn, the kingdom of darkness will punish you for not doing your job well enough. And that's one of the reasons demons are so heinous and so good at what they do, because they're being ruled out of fear. Like if there's a demon in my life or in me, right, and I manage to spot it and get rid of it after the devil sent that demon, the demon's also afraid of that. That's why they like to remain dormant and just stay there, because they're like, if I'm just here quietly, right, nothing's gonna happen. I'm gonna be in this person. When my moment comes, I'll take it. Other than that, I'm gonna stay here. At least I'm in a body, and at least I'm in a body. At least I can. I'm not going to be in trouble because I haven't gone on the attack yet, right? On the flip side, in the kingdom of heaven, obviously it doesn't work like that. God is honestly a bit too understanding, in my opinion, but praise Jesus that he is. He's like, okay, as long as you're honest and earnest, you gave your best shot, you really did give your best shot, your best is always good enough with God. And our best isn't good enough, but it's good enough with God, if that makes sense. So I'm realizing now, anyway, long story short, these people have to play it up, because if we knew what they were doing behind the scenes to have the things they have, if we knew in detail, because I genuinely believe that behind the scenes, they all do all this stuff, right? We've got the Super Bowl coming up. We got this coming up. It's all staged. It's all staged. And I believe that they all sit there, Hollywood, the sports industries, the media, all of them, and they sit there and they're like, right, this is the performance we're putting on to sway the jury of the sheeple. I need you to do all these weird rituals, all these demonic things behind the scenes. I'm going to terrorize you into behavior. Because if somebody can, like, and I hate to say this, but it's the truth. And a lot of us have been there. What is going on? Where you've been, what's the word? Hold on, see how the noisy around, see what's going on? Bear with me, everyone. I could legit sit and watch these people building stuff all day. Because it is so fascinating watching people on these construction building sites. I just love to see it all coming together. That's why I like to be out all the time, to get to see all the little changes, because I didn't know we were changing this little patch here. This place turning into a city. Also, can I just add, we've got a Wingstop now here in this town. That's crazy work. Anyway, I throw in these little details for those of you who watch my videos regularly, so you know, you can see the evolutions that I'd be talking about and how I notice the small things over time. Like, what are they doing here? They're literally turning this place into a city. That's crazy. Crazy work. Anyway, they've been putting recording studios right here in this new building. Recording studios. I never thought I'd see the day. Never thought I'd see the day. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, we've all been in those situations, or at least I have, where you behave, you listen to somebody, not just because you fear them, but because they've actually punished you in a way that's like, I'm just going to behave now, right? I mean, that's how most parents think parenting is these days, isn't it? They don't really discipline you like to actually help you to be better. They discipline you just to get you to behave out of fear, because you're scared of what they will do. They'll take something away from you, they'll hurt you, whatever, but you don't actually necessarily have respect for them, right? And on the other extremes, which I've also experienced, people can just use brute force and whatever to subdue you, and it's like, well, how am I supposed to come up against this? And I honestly believe that's what the devil's doing, and that's why it's like, you guys, I know you're going through hell, but you're not going to go there, because I've got you in this delusion that we all think we're going to live forever somehow with science, because eating from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil always works out well for humans, right? That's what I'm saying. How are we still falling for the same lie thousands of years later? I don't know. But you need to go out there and you need to be convincing. You need to convince the world that you're living the best days of your life. You need to convince the world that this is the best thing that's ever happened to you. Okay, this is your job. And if you don't go out there and be convincing, if you don't make the temptation trio even more tempting every day, I need you guys to, I can just imagine like the board meetings of these people being like, the devil being like, okay guys, so we're now in the third quarter. I'm going to need us to increase our temptation profits by about 5% in this quarter, or you're being punished. You're being punished. And don't forget, I can just kill you and you'll go straight to hell. Because that's what we're doing over here, because we're trying to skip hell. So if you don't fall in line, if you don't get in line, right, I'm going to kill you, because I told you guys, it's the devil's 3 warnings. cancelled, crazy coffin. You either get cancelled, make sure you're cancelled. That's why I think there's people like Chris Brown always uses the example. He's too talented and too current, too trendy and too valuable to kill. So the options are always cancelled and crazy. He's either cancelled for doing something. This is why they do the humiliation rituals, take all these tapes, or crazy. Oh, he's in rehab. He's on drugs again. It's like with the Kanye thing, because I was just thinking with this whole Beyonce, Jay-Z, isn't it funny? Isn't this like freaking funny? People are turning on Beyonce and Jay-Z. And all of a sudden, Kanye doesn't look so crazy anymore. You know. And so it's like, you get in line. You behave. So when they're showing us all this stuff, I don't even believe any of these celebrity couples are real. That's why you guys know, I love the Trisha Paytas, and she has a podcast. I sit there and listen to her 3-hour podcast with her and her producer and her husband talking about current events. Oh my gosh, did you see Kylie and Timothée Chalamet? Like, everybody's talking about how when Timothée Chalamet went up to get his Grammy, or what is it? I don't know these awards because I don't care. Because again, who gets to decide what was the best movie? Why do I care about freaking Grammy? This is why I don't really want anything in this world, you guys. Because what accolade, what trophy, what medal, what certificate in this world is of value to me? Because why do I actually care what you think anyway? Like, this is why I'm struggling with the Lord. I'm like, God, I don't really have any goals. I think about this a few days ago. I used to want to do, like, when I set out, like, in the beginning, when I started my business, I was like, I want to be in Forbes 30 under 30. That was one of my big goals. And that's what I've been thinking about. Because, like, oh my gosh, I'm 30 next year. And I just don't even think about Forbes 30 under 30. That was one of my biggest driving forces. Because what do I care about what Forbes has to say? What do I care? That was like one of my big goals. Another big goal was to take one cheerleading team and a dance team to Worlds in Disney in Florida. Don't care, because why do I care what anybody... why do I care? Like, why do I care? But anyway, they were like, Timothée Chalamet went up, and then Kylie, like, she didn't even make it about herself. She didn't even, like, stand up. She's so humble, and she just, you can see how much she's supporting him. And did you see how she, like, hugged his mom? And I'm just like, I love it, because, you know, Trisha and her and her husband and the guy, they're very sweet people. They're very well-meaning. And this is why I get frustrated, you guys, because I don't think that people are participating. This, again, it's the performance of it all for me that frustrates me, and it's the people who know what they're doing. That's why the Kris Jenners that bother me, because even the Kardashians, I reckon that Kim, Kourtney, Kylie, what's all their names? Khloe, Kendall, all of them, I think they're only now about at the time in their lives. Their mum would have to be significantly far away, like maybe after she passes away. And I'm not wishing for that, by the way. I wish that this woman would come to Christ for real, although she is very much still profiting off of having her own church so that she can get people's money in tax-free. But anyway, I think it would take that for them to, like, fully wake up, because this is all they're used to. They're used to the performance of it all. I told you, I believe Keeping Up with the Kardashians, most reality TV is scripted, because even me being on camera, there's no way for me to pretend. As much as I will try to be authentic, I'm aware I'm on camera. I'm aware this is going out to the internet. Like, the way I would discuss this topic with you guys if we were in person is very different, right? Very different. I'd say the same things, as I'd say in different ways, and I'd also give a lot more details about certain things. But I have to be aware I'm on the internet. YouTube guidelines. I need my video to at least be uploaded. So there's no way these people are doing things in public and not fully aware. I'm not famous, and yet I'm also 100% aware of the fact that, like, what I'm doing, that people are watching, and how I present myself has an impact on what people think about what I'm saying and what they think about the things that I do, and whether that makes my life, what I'm doing, what I'm saying, more or less attractive to them. So if that's me on this very, very minuscule scale in comparison to these folks, think about them. Think about how much they are strategizing. So I do believe they sit there and they just, like in a business meeting, like I would do for a show or a showcase, you sit there with the people, you all brainstorm the ideas, you map out exactly what you're going to do. Or like, you know, I even was producing, if you will, for this like short film thing. And like we sat there, me and the writers and like the main actor, we sat there, we're storyboarding. Like, what do we do here? What does this shot look like? What does that look like? I'm behind the camera going, okay, next shot we need, you know what I mean? It's all staged, and I feel like that's what's happening. And I feel like they're being punished behind the scenes. It's just like in One Piece, the Dressrosa story arc. I keep going back to that story arc, right? in the Dressrosa story arc, where you guys know I said it's my favorite story arc, the one that ironically I got the little Luffy doll with the costume from that story arc for Christmas from my brother. Can you believe he's big enough to be buying Christmas gifts? And then he cried. Anyway, and also he shouldn't be spending his money. Like, I was actually kind of annoyed about that because I was like, just save your money. Save your money. But, you know, bless his heart. Anyway, so in that story arc, I told you guys, the humans, when they were walking around, they were all under a deception. They were convinced that their king had been the traitor, right? So this is exactly what the devil's doing, like God being the traitor, right, to all of us, right? That's basically what the devil does. That's what I said, this is all just one big game of traitors we're all playing in, right? And God, and they all believe that, and then they're all living with these toys, and their toys are like their friends, and it all seems fun and funny, and the toys are like sentient, they're like people but toys. And then what little do they know that those toys used to be their family members or their friends or whatever. They don't remember because of the whatever spell, I guess you could use, or the powers used to change them. And while the rest of the world is asleep at night, and this is what I'm talking about, the toys are underground working the factories. They don't even sleep. And this is what I think about these celebrities all the time. You know, I'm like, these people are so overworked, because you can push yourself to those levels, like you do. Like when you work in the entertainment or sports and stuff, you don't, things like, oh, I got a good amount of sleep and I ate 3 solid meals a day is a luxury. Like the basic life luxury, those things are luxuries for you in those situations. That's why I think a lot of people couldn't handle the heat if they were really in the kitchen, because I'm like, could you actually handle doing 12 to 15 hours, like rehearsals, then this, all this, you know what I mean? Could you actually handle doing that? What that would do to you? I don't think a lot of people could. I think a lot of people, when I hear people being like, I need to make sure every night I get 8 to 10 hours of sleep, and I'm like, I'm sure you do. That is very healthy, and it is also recommended. However, some dreams are just, you're going to have to push yourself to your limits. And the devil knows that, right? We've seen that even with the likes of the Jessie Nelsons, all these celebrities we've spoken about on my channel, where we discover that behind the scenes, I mean, poor old Tate McRae is the one who I think of often, because I love Tate McRae and I actually like her music. Poor girl, she's doing so much dancing, and she really can dance. Like, she's really an incredible dancer. Sis is just performing constantly. And when I saw her coming out in that song Revolving Door, she's all in her heels, I'm like, can we give her a break? Like, when has this girl had a nap? Like, are we making sure that she's looked after? Because girl is working so hard, especially because that's more of her thing. This is what they put you through, right? All for us to then see a lovely, nice music video, and all we see is the 3-minute music video. Always see is the 3-minute music video, and we love the idea, but in reality, whether it's in a super demonic way, doing all these things in the underground tunnels, doing all these rituals, doing all these seances and all this, whether it's the devil using force to actually hurt people and keep them in line, or whether it's just the insane schedules, because I remember even the Spice Girls, I don't know if you've seen, whenever people get famous, they go on these absurd tours. Like, I was there when I was on tour with Zucchero. I'm thinking, bro's turning 70. Is it necessary for us to really be going to like a new country every month? And like, is it that necessary? But I do think from what he could see, he could handle it. He's been in the game for a long time. And again, if you can't handle the heat, get out of the kitchen. And bro can handle the heat. That's why he's still in the kitchen at 70 years old. You know what I mean? But, you know, I was thinking to myself, this is actually quite insane. What they're doing, and like, why is it like this? But then I'm like, this is the demand of the industry, because this is what keeps up the performance. People are excited to see, oh my gosh, they dropped 50 tour dates in such and such and such and such, right? Whereas God is like, okay, so guys, this is what he says to the Israelites, right? While they were all complaining and making new gods, right? While God was talking to Moses, he's like, so here's the thing, every 7 years you guys are going to take 1 whole year off, the entire year off. Right? That year, you don't do any farming, you don't do nothing, because in the Sabbath year is what's it's called. In the Sabbath year, you allow all of your crops, your plants, your everything, you leave it for the animals, right? To give them a bit of a leg up, and also for people who are poorer, to give them a leg up in life. So it's like, that's why I think God is so amazing. He's giving everybody, it's a win-win. The people who are not doing so well, maybe didn't have a good, you know, near decade or so. God's giving you a time to, okay, you at least know you've got the basics for survival. The animals get a bit of a leg up as well, a bit of a break. Creation itself, the earth, because it's another thing we exploit, right? Like I'm saying now, I'm like, why are we cutting these bits down? They're taking out the lovely dirt. They've got all these dirts they're taking out to go in and put in concrete and all this. I'm like, we need these trees, all of this. We're just destroying creation. It literally creates on its own. We don't have to pay any money. In fact, we pay all this money in these gardens I'm standing in right now for all to look nice and lovely, because nature's so good at reproducing itself. But as we do as humans, right, we just destroy everything. We exploit everything. And it's because we're slaves to the kingdom of darkness, right? And so that's why they're doing it. That's what I realized. They're doing this literally to keep up the facade, to keep up this performance, to convince everybody that this is the lifestyle. Because if we saw the BTS, if we saw what they were doing behind the scenes, we would not want to even engage with this stuff. We were like, you know what? My life doesn't see. And a lot of people are having that moment and are going to be having that moment the more we find out. I'm like, you know what? Maybe my life doesn't seem so bad. You know what? If I have to be rich and famous, I have to be doing weird things with kids and all this stuff or whatever. Maybe my life isn't so bad. You know what? I'm able to go to a job where I'm able to provide for myself and the people I care about. I'm able to spend some time myself. You know what? Maybe it isn't so bad. Maybe having money. And it's so funny how I've noticed more and more people actually finding contentment in life as opposed to desiring these things, which of course the devil doesn't want. And God always talks about contentment. And even in Solomon himself says, you know, in the book of Ecclesiastes, he's like, well, you know, don't work too hard. Like, don't spend so much time trying to do everything, which is again what we do now. Everything's about always putting like 120% of your energy into the future. And it's like, what future are we talking about? Like, this is what I don't get when I think about things like retirement plans, even mortgages. I'm not going to get into mortgages, right? That's another thing I just don't fundamentally believe in. I don't fundamentally believe in anything other than owning your own land and property. And again, another form of slavery. Everything we have, all of our money has to go to the government. This is why I don't really want to start a business. I don't really want to start anything. I don't really want to do much because everything has to go to the government. I have to declare how much money I'm making to the government. I have to follow, if I start a business, if I start a cooking business, I have to be approved by this person. And if I start another type of business, I have to be approved, accredited by so-and-so. It's like, who are these people? And why is this slavery? And I don't want any of it. I don't want to be involved. I don't want to be here. I don't want it. But you know what I'm saying? Like, we got to find contentment in people are finding contentment. Even Solomon talks about that, and Solomon had everything everybody wants. And that's why I know it's like one of the greatest tricks. I didn't realize I've been talking for this long. That's why I know it's one of the greatest tricks, because it's unattainable. Most people are going to die trying to find that as a solution, right? And therefore just die and realize that they wasted their life pursuing nothingness. That's literally what all of Ecclesiastes is about. About how life is just a vapor. It's all a vapor. It's all meaningless. It's all nothing. And most people, it's the same with science. You're going to go ahead and try and study everything. You can't. It's physically impossible. Logically, it's impossible to study absolutely everything. And not to mention the fact that you don't have access to everything in the world. I already believe that a lot of stuff is being gate kept, you know, from us, the wider public, on purpose, by these people I'm talking about now. And this is how you know we're becoming a city, because why is there mice and rats now? There never used to be. I used to come and sit here with my friend where I'm standing right now. Look, there's a little, actually I might not show you guys. The mice are actually cute though. Hot take. Is that a hot take? We used to come and sit here in this area, and we used to sit and have a picnic, and it would be nice on a sunny day in the summer. You know, come and bring a football, kick around a football, have a good time. Now, the last time me and my friend tried to do that, bro, there was like 8, 10, 20, 30, 50, 50, 60, 80, 100 mice. But you get the gist. Like, it's like this pursuit of something that actually isn't what it is. Actually isn't what it is. It's the same way we like see an advert for McDonald's. The new double, tripper, decker, bacon, deluxe, Big Mac. Right? And they have the whole little advert where it's all looking juicy, straight off the grill, hot, sizzling, right? And all of this fresh ingredients, crisp lettuce, soft bun, all of this. And then what do you actually get when you go there? See, that's what's going to happen. That's why I said it's all one big performance. That's another thing I don't care for. I'm like, why do people spend money on advertising these days? Why? Because we all know it's all fake. Of course, if you're doing Head and Shoulders advert for our new serum, whatever. Of course it looks amazing. Because you made it, you had hairstylists there, you did photoshopping of the images. Do you know what I'm saying? I like the chances that you just only use that one product and we just got the raw footage on camera is so, you got all the perfect lighting. You thought about the color contrasting, what's going to make the color pop, what's going to bring out the shine. You know what I mean? And you did everything. It's all fake. Everything is fake. And the devil is ruling by fear. That's why they don't step away. The reason why these people don't step away is because they're scared. They're scared. They're scared. They don't think they can get out, and that's why they believe that their soul has been sold. Because in order for them to get out of it, they would literally need to run into the arms of God. And when I say not just, oh, I'm walking away from the industry, that's the mistake they all think. The devil's like, yeah, walk away. Try that. Unless you literally run into the arms of the Almighty God, right? Under the power of the name of Jesus Christ, you're still screwed. You're still screwed. And that's why they think they're stuck. And that's why they put on this performance, because they have to. They have to. It's not just that they have to because that's how they make their money. That's why they're rich, because they sway us. They make us all fall in love with them. Their lifestyles aspire to be like them, aspire to have what they want. But it's also because they have to. Whether they're happy about it or not, whether they're actually enjoying it or not, they have to. Whether they're enjoying it or not. And that's why I think they use a lot of things like substances and stuff to keep people, under the influence so they can like cope better with the situation and be more easily controlled, because they have to. And the only way you would know, the only way anybody can ever understand these types of things is once you actually get those things, because you realize that those things are all very meaningless. Because guess what? You can have, I remember a phrase my mum used to say, and it's really funny. She says, wherever you go, there you are. And it's something I think about all the time, as in like, you can try and go into anything, you can try and have whatever you want. Like, this is how I've thought about it over the years. But at the end of the day, you're still you, and you still have what you've experienced, what's inside of you. So all of that things becomes nothing if you haven't done the internal work. If you haven't got like the right kinds of community around you, you're going to just have all of those things. It's almost going to be worse, because now you're going to realize that it's meaningless. So that's why they do that. This is why they flaunt their money, power, and their wealth. They have to. It's a part of the strategy. We're all pawns. They're a pawn. We're a pawn. Well, they're more like, the bishop, the castle, whatever. We're like just the pawns in the game. The more dispensable ones, right? They're the ones who have a bit more power and a bit more influence on the gameplay itself, right? But at the end of the day, they're still just pieces in the game. And on that note, if life's a game, let's play to win. God bless you all. God loves you. I love you. I'll see you in my next one. Goodbye.